and good morning to our friends joining us from North America and Europe. Good afternoon to those in Asia and Indian subcontinent and Afghanistan, and good evening to our participants from Australia. Welcome to our today's conference on the genocide of the Hazaras from King Amir Rahman to the present. We are truly pleased to have participants from all over the world. I'm Shekib Jaghori, student at Jain University and organizing member of today's conference. Before we dive into the proceedings, let me briefly take you through the structure of today's conference. As per the program agenda that we have received, we will begin with a keynote address by Professor William Maley, followed by a paper presentation on various topics, and then we will have 2 rounds of panel discussions. The theme of our today's conference centers on the genocide of the Hazaras beginning in the late 19th century or even earlier according to other sources. The Hazaras are indigenous ethnic group that mainly practice 12-hour Shia Islam in a country with Sunni majority Muslim. Because of this ethnic religious identity, the community has long been subjected to discrimination and violence. As many of you already know that over the course of history, Hazaras have suffered severe persecution, facing organized violence, massacres and targeted attacks that in many instances amount to the act of genocide. To give you a brief historical context, for instance, during the 1890s, it's documented that over 60% of the Hazaras were either killed, forced migration, sold into slavery, or perished due to disease and hunger. This atrocity is widely recognized as genocide. This horrific chapter laid the groundwork for a perpetual cycle of violence that has continued into the present day. Also, between 1993 and 2001, the Hazara people faced at least 9 major massacres, each signifying crime against humanity. Since 2001 and particularly post-2010, there have been 100+ documented attacks on the Hazara community, which resulted in 1,500+ deaths and over 2,000 injuries. These attacks have taken various forms, including suicide bombings, summary executions, armed attacks, and abductions. These attacks have targeted Hazaras in mosques, in religious sites, on highways, at festivals, sport clubs, at weddings, in hospitals, schools, tuition center, cultural center, and even during the peaceful protests. These attacks have been perpetrated by the Taliban, the H.S.A.I, unknown armed men, and the Afghan government. Some of the attacks have remained unclaimed, or we have been unable to identify their criminals. In the current time following the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan, the situation of the Hazaras has worsened significantly, and the target killing continues to take the lives of the Hazaras. More than 20 targeted attacks have been documented since the Taliban takeover of the Hazaras and Shia community in Afghanistan. Hazaras remain unprotected under a de facto authority that continues to be its enemy, leaving only 2 options for the community's protection: international measures and self-defense mechanisms. The attack and violence in the Hazaras are systematic and aimed at exterminating them merely because of their ethnic and religious identity. These targeted and deliberate attacks meet the legal definition of genocide in Article 2 of the Genocide Convention of 1948 and Article 6 of the Rome Statute. Given these realities, today's conference aimed to shed light on the plight of the Hazaras and explore its historical and contemporary dimensions. We are honored to have a lineup of esteemed speakers and panelists who will share their insights on these crucial issues. Now, let me briefly take you through today's conference agenda, which is thoughtfully structured to provide you a comprehensive understanding of the topic. We will begin with a keynote address from our esteemed speaker, Professor William Maley from the Australian National University. His talk titled The Politics of Genocide in Afghanistan, which will explain the complex political dynamics that have contributed to the act of genocide. Following Professor Maley's keynote, we will hear a group of scholars who will present their research findings on a diverse range of topics. We will begin with Mr. Rustam Ali Sirat, presentation, who will explore the socio-economic factors that have contributed to the marginalization and poverty of the Hazara community in Afghanistan. Then Regina and Paulos and Timothy Franklin will present their research on the recognition of the crimes committed against the Hazaras. Their work will explain the historical overview of the atrocities committed against the Hazaras since the late 19th century and argues that these acts constitute genocide. Next, Ms. Saida Batul will follow with a presentation on the challenges faced by the Hazara women in Balochistan. Her paper will highlight the intersection of gender-based violence and ethnic discrimination. We'll then shift our focus to the preservation of historical memory with a presentation on the Hazara Genocide Archive by Majid Paiman, which is Block Analyst Network's project. This presentation will provide a platform for documenting and sharing the experience of survivors and witnesses. Finally, in this part, Dr. Melissa will offer a perspective on the long-term psychological and social impact of the Hazara Genocide. Her research will explore the ways in which traumatic experiences can shape individual and collective identities. Next, we will host two insightful panel discussions. The first will focus on conceptualizing the Hazara Genocide in the Afghan state, failures and future directions. Our second panel will address international law and failures and prospect for prevention and protection, which will examine the role of global governance in addressing these atrocities. We will conclude our conference with closing remarks from Mr. Reza Ehsan. Let me not forget the organizers. This event is jointly organized by two organizations, the Association of Hazara Voice for Justice and the Hazara Student Association in India. The Hazara Student Association in India is a non-profit organization established in 2013 with the primary aim of helping out the Hazara students with accommodation, documentation, and integration. After the fall of the Kabul, the H.S.A.I offered free online English course, computer literacy classes, monthly webinars to empower Afghanistani girls. H.S.A.I program has positively impacted our 2,000 girls. H.S.A.I mission is to empower students through educational initiatives, cultural program, and capacity building. This was a brief intro of H.S.A.I. Now coming towards the Association of Hazara Voice for Justice. The Association of Hazara Voice for Justice is a non-profit community-led association established by the Hazara refugees in India, and it's committed to advocating refugees' rights in India while also providing them educational and skill development program to support them. Now it's time to introduce the keynote speaker of the event, who is Professor William Maley from Australian National University. His address titled The Politics of Genocide in Afghanistan, which will provide a crucial foundation for our today's discussion. Professor Maley is a renowned expert in Afghan politics and modern diplomacy. He has served as the foundation director of the Asia-Pacific College of Diplomacy at ANU and authored numerous books and publications on the subject. As Professor Maley is on a trip and he is unable to join, we have received his recorded video speech. I would like to request the technical team to play the video for us. Thank you.